Hey everyone, welcome to the course. In this lecture, we are going to learn about SOAP services and what is the difference between SOAP services and REST services. Then we will talk about what and when to use SOAP services, and we will also talk about what are the challenges that came into the picture whenever we are trying to consume or expose a RESTful service. So SOAP service is a protocol, and it stands for Simple Object Access Protocol. And SOAP was designed before REST came into the picture. That means SOAP is much older than REST API. And the idea behind designing the SOAP API was to provide a way of communication, or we can say that provide a way of data exchange between two or more platforms which were designed using different platforms or which were built on different platforms with the help of different programming languages. Now let's talk about what the difference between REST and SOAP are. So SOAP stands for Simple Object Access Protocol, whereas REST is an representational state transfer. That means it's a followed architectural style where we can where SOAP follows SOAP is a protocol. SOAP uses some standards while developing the API because it follows the WSDL file which contains the information about what to consume and what to send. Whereas REST follows architectural style, which is a web service and it uses RESTful services. That means it uses resource locators to get the access for a particular component or to get the information about a particular resource. SOAP cannot use REST, and why it cannot use a REST service? Because it's a protocol. REST can use SOAP services. Why? Because REST follows architectural style and it can consume SOAP services itself. SOAP follows the WSDL to consume SOAP follows WSDL to expose the functionality to the client. WSDL is a file which contains the key information about what to consume, what to send, and what information is being sent by the system, and what is the architect of the table, what is the structure of the data, the format of the data that is coming from the third party system. Whereas REST follows uniform resource locators to access a particular component. For example, the employee data is stored on a server and the server URL is sfdcpanther.com. Then data of employee can be accessed using URL like sfdcpanther.com/employees, and at the end of employees we can also append the employee ID to get the information about a single employee. SOAP also requires more bandwidth, and the reason is because it's completely built on XML format, and it contains more information about a single message like which user is consuming the service, what is the URL, or we can say what is the architect of the system, architect of the resource that we wanted to consume. Whereas REST is a RESTful service which contains information in the form of JSON mostly, but it can also contain the information in the form of text, XML, or some plain text body as well. SOAP can only work with XML format, which we can also say that it's a limitation of a SOAP, and it is also the advantage of the SOAP API. Whereas REST can work with different formats which itself include XML, and because we already discussed that REST can consume SOAP as well. Now let's talk about when to use SOAP services. First thing is that the person or the business don't want to compromise with the data security. The main thing about SOAP is that it is much more secure than RESTful services. Why it is much more secure secure as compared to the REST services? Because SOAP services are stateful services and REST services are stateless services. And again, business wants to communicate with a particular format, then they have agreed exchanging the data with the format SOAP 1.0, where everything is either sent or everything is either being received with the help of a particular format, which is XML. Another thing is that platform to platform integration, because that was the main motive behind designing the SOAP services. When you wanted to integrate one platform with another platform, then SOAP is the best service for you. When we talk about platform to platform, that means we wanted to integrate Salesforce with some other CRM platform like HubSpot, Oracle CRM or SAP. These are some platform and we wanted to integrate with each other. We don't want it to compromise with the security of our systems. Now let's talk about what challenges comes into the picture whenever we are trying to consume or expose. First challenge is WSDL file itself. Why it is a challenge? Because WSDL file is the key file which contains information about what to consume and what to send. It also contains information about which user is consuming the API, what is the structure of a table, what is the structure of some other tables. That means the WSDL file is designed using XML form. Suppose that in future they wanted to change the element, they wanted to change the node of their WSDL file. Then all the system which are consuming their WSDL file, they have to make the changes into their code in order to make that work. And then other thing is document size. What is the document size is that because SOAP requires more bandwidth, and sometimes if we are sending more data, that will leading to the more document size, which may result into the failure of our web service. So these are the two key challenges that comes into the picture while we are trying to consume SOAP and SOAP services. So this is all about SOAP services, and we will see into the next lecture where we will implement SOAP services into Apex. Thank you.